Hi, friends. So I was doing some reading with Kalina this morning. She's learning to read, and it reminded me of what we're doing with Latin. And I thought I would just make a video because it is connected to what I wanted to do for homework. She was reading the word seed, right? And she looked at it and she said, se-e-d, said. I was like, no, honey, that's seed. When you have two E's together, they always make the E sound. And she said, oh, okay, seed. You know, that's fine. But then the next time she came to it, she went se-e-d. Kind of, you've seen this word before. Remember, it's seed. Okay, that's fine. That's where she's at with it, right? And she's going to figure it out. She's a smart girl. This is just the first time she's learning these things. And eventually, when she sees this word, she's going to say seed and not even think about it, right? Well, this is actually the same thing as what's going on with our Latin right now. And that is why I want to really focus on you guys reading Latin over and over again. And it will become more and more natural the more you read it. The last couple Fine Arts Days, we've been talking about the different endings that a Latin noun can have or a Latin adjective might have. And I want to tell you about those things because I want you to be aware because it helps your mind to find the pattern. So just like when I told Kalina, okay, well, when you see two E's together, it always makes an E sound. Then the next time she might remember that, and that helps her remember it. So I've told you guys about, the way a direct object will look in Latin, and new is the way a possessive word will look in Latin. But it's not the most important part about what you're doing. The most important part about what you're doing with Latin is reading. So what I really want you, he even says it right here. I don't remember who's the guy who wrote this. He says it's not necessary to know exactly what the word endings mean. Just match the Latin to English and make readable sentences. As you're doing that and you do it over and over again, it will become so natural and become so easy. For example, if you flip back to the lesson 1, it will feel really easy to you now because you've done it several times. And the more you read it, the more it will start to look like something. Your mind is doing work on it. Even more work than you think you're doing on it. Your mind is a pattern finding machine. It's amazing. So the more you're reading the Latin over and over and over again, your mind is reading the Latin and it's also finding the patterns. So that's why I really would like you guys to keep reading these stories over and over. I think for what we're going to do for the next Fine Arts Day is just to make I'll make a little sheet where I would like you guys to read Latin for 10 minutes a day, 3 times a week for the next couple weeks. And we'll probably keep that up for the rest of the year. You can choose from any of the stories in here, Minimus, pick whatever you want. I have a couple it just fell out. But the Minimus book, the little one with the ghost or whatever. I can post this up for your parents where you can print out the rest of the Visual Latin Story Bible, and you guys can keep going with that. If it gets boring, move on to a new story. This is not it, but anyways, just keep reading in the Latin, and your mind is going to work it out. And we might highlight some things at Fine Arts Day, and that's great. But the way you guys are going to learn is to keep reading over and over and over again. And I promise you, like I said last Fine Arts Day, it's way more interesting than putting these words on flashcards and flipping them over and over again. That's terrible. That's a terrible way to learn a language. Okay, have a good day.